But thank you so much for joining in today, this morning. And today we have a very special app, which is Adobe Acrobat inside of Teams. And we're going to talk about the various capabilities that that the apps are having right now, and how can we enable this inside your tenant so that you can collaborate and streamline your work for your PDF documents inside the Teams environment itself. So before jumping into the app, let's first try to understand why is it important to bring in all your apps into a single environment that is within your teams, if that's where all of your users, all of your employees spend the majority of your day. Harish, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so we know that it's almost back to office, return to office, but we still have a lot of teams. We still have a lot of people who we are working, who are not present in the same office, who might be working out of different time zones, out of different geographies. So you're collaborating with them, you're communicating with them, you're sharing information. All of that needs to happen in a time-bound manner for all of us to achieve our goals, our business objectives efficiently and effectively. So it is very, very important that we bring in all of this information into our context of work. If you see, on an average, almost 25 times information workers within organizations on an average switch between apps, between solutions. So today we do use a lot of different solutions, different applications for our various business processes, starting from just viewing or collaborating on documents, or IT service management, or your HR processes, your learning apps, your engagement apps. You might be using 100 different applications for bringing in all your different business processes in the context. So how do we kind of bring all of these solutions, all of these functions into that one single environment where you actually talk to each other, you are communicating with your team members and users on a daily basis. So for doing that, we do have a lot of applications which are present inside of Teams. We can move to the next slide. That talks a bit about how apps inside of Teams help you stay connected, help you share information, help you work and collaborate with your team members much more efficiently. Obviously, there's a lot of information that you shared with your team members, and you would want to do it instantly without switching context, without going to a different environment or logging into a different application. How do you kind of bring in surface information from different apps into, say, your Teams chats, your group chats, your meeting chats? How can we do that efficiently, and how can we surface the most important hygiene information with our team members on the go? That's the problem that we are trying to solve with our apps inside of Teams. We have a lot of apps, almost more than 15,000 apps, which are present on our Teams App Store. You might be able to connect with a few logos that are already there. A lot of your popular apps, which you might be using for your ITSM, for your HRMS, for your LMS, for your sales functions, operations, you would be finding most of them in our Teams App Store. But apart from these, if you do want to kind of digitize certain processes which are manual right now, if you want to build apps from scratch or quickly, we do also offer a lot of platform capabilities of the Teams platform, which is going to help you build these apps or digitize these processes so that you are bringing in all of these information into your Teams environment. So yeah, and the usage of these apps, we're seeing a massive growth in the usage of these apps in the last few months. The number of apps on our store keeps on growing. We are right now at more than 1,500 plus, but it's gonna go up even more in the next few months. Yeah, and maybe we can go to the next slide. As I was saying before, the most important thing over here is how do we collaborate? How do we work together? How do we bring in information with minimal effort so that there's no miscommunication? We are breaking silos and boundaries between teams. For example, your DevOps teams could be using multiple tools within their daily work. They could be using something for project management, some other tool for bug tracking, something for their CI/CD processes. So how do we kind of integrate all of this information? How do they find this information handy inside of one environment itself? That's what we are trying to solve through our Teams App Store. And we are going to talk about one very important application today, which is the Adobe Acrobat app inside of Teams. As we know, we have a lot of PDF documents that we keep on working in our day-to-day work. We need to collaborate on them. We are working with a lot of our team members on a single PDF document. How do we kind of get feedback, get quick inputs on all of our from all of our team members on the documents that we are working on? How do we collaborate on that? How can we share our feedback inputs? We're trying to make this process easier. And that is what we're going to talk about, how this app is going to help us do these things much more easily inside of the Teams environment. With this, I will hand it over to Tanveer, who's from Adobe and who's going to help us understand more about this application. How can we get it enabled? What sort of features are present? What are the different variations that Acrobat brings in according to what sort of licensing that you might be having within your organization? We're going to address all of that. And yes, with that, welcome, Danveer.
Thank you so much, Panna, and thank you so much for setting this context. As you said correctly, right, PDFs is how work happens in organizations and in business, and all of us have the need to work on PDF documents. And what we plan and what our aim is with this app is to make PDF workflows seamless and bring them up in the course of your work in Microsoft Teams. How we wanted to approach today's uh, this discussion is to start with a small video first, and after that we can dive deep into the capabilities of the application, and I can talk to you about what is enabled for free versus signed in versus not signed in versus paid users, and also show you some of the app's other capabilities which are not covered in this demo. But I think starting off with this demo is great context setting, and I'm sure all of you will relate to the context that we're talking about in the demo. As a PDF user in Teams, I currently face two problems. The first one is it's difficult for me to open a PDF file.
Hey, Harish. I think we are
In
not being
Acrobat.
able to.
As a PDF user in
Yeah.
Teams, I currently
All good.
face two problems. The first one is it's difficult for me to open a PDF file in Acrobat. If I simply click on it, it opens up by default in the native Teams PDF viewer. And in the native Teams PDF viewer, I can't collaborate on PDF effectively since collaboration tools aren't available. So let's see how we're solving this. Diego and Megan work in an organization which uses the updated Acrobat for MS Teams app, which supports opening of PDF documents that are shared in MS Teams in the Acrobat experience by default, instead of the native Teams PDF viewer. Diego and Megan are working together on a marketing brochure, and Diego has asked Megan to share the latest with him so that he can provide feedback. Megan shares with him the PDF document, and then Diego clicks on it. And you can see that by default, it opens in a full screen Acrobat viewer and not the native MS Teams viewer. So Diego can now use this to go through the document. Diego also has available to him commenting and annotating tools. Since Diego is a free user, he can't use premium tools, but these tools would be available for people who have them included in their subscription. But Diego can still use commenting and annotating tools even if he's a free user. So example, he can provide feedback such as, I like this quote. And he can also ask Megan to check the pricing from finance. So now switching to Megan's view, now when Megan clicks on the PDF that she had shared with Diego, as in Diego's case, you can see that it opens up by default in Acrobat. What Megan can do is that she can see the feedback that Diego has provided, and she can see Diego's comments, and she can also respond to them. So for example, she can say thanks here,
uh, and here she can say sure, will do. Uh, Coming back to Diego's view, what you see here is that Diego is also able to see the responses that Megan has given to his comments. And so this is quite an effective tool for collaboration. And once Diego closes the viewer, he's taken back to the chat, which is where he came from. In addition, the Acrobat in Microsoft Teams app also has a home page, which has all the tools laid out upfront, and it gives easy access to users to their recent PDF documents. It also has a documents page, which a user can use to access the files that are there in their OneDrive or which have been shared with them in different Teams channels. And if a user clicks on a PDF here, then again, it opens up in the Acrobat viewer.
Great. So that was a brief demo on how the app can enable collaboration by allowing people to send documents for review and gather feedback, and how people can mark up PDF documents in Teams, which is not possible with the native MS Teams viewer in Teams. If you just go to the next slide, Spanna. So this is sort of like a table which talks about what are the capabilities that you get with this application as compared to in different scenarios of sign in and subscription versus what is there present if you're not using the Acrobat app for PDF collaboration in Teams. So if you're not using the app, then as the first column says, right, you can essentially share PDFs and people can view those PDFs, but there's little much that you can do with them other than that. If you have the Acrobat app installed, your end users can, of course, view the documents, and no login is needed for that. And as admins, you can set the Acrobat app as default for your end users. And Prateek will walk you through by the end of this discussion on how you can do that. uh, Once your users have the Acrobat installed, right, people who have a free entitlement can also go ahead and do the markup, and annotate, draw, and highlight, and comment on these PDF documents, thereby enabling those people to participate fruitfully in collaboration and commenting on PDF documents. And those people who have paid tools or paid subscription available, there are multiple paid value that is also included in the app, such as the ability to export the app around to export the app to export the PDF document from a PDF to other file formats, to move around pages in the document and rotate them and add other files to combine them together, compressing the PDF file so that it's reduced in size and can be shared more easily, and even adding password protection to these documents. So if I can take the screen for a second, I can just show you how some of these things look like, just to give you a better idea of that. Is that okay, Harish, if I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
take away
go for
control
it.
first?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and while he takes back the screen, there's a poll live on the chat. People, if you want, you can just go in and punch in your responses over there. Prakhar, I see your question. We're going to take this after the demo, if that's okay. There's a login issue that Prakhar is facing with his Adobe app. We're going to take it towards the end of the demo. Yes,
Sure.
Tanvir, back to you.
Sure. So this is me viewing a PDF file inside of Acrobat and Microsoft Teams. As I was saying, user doesn't need to be signed into Acrobat for this. So if Acrobat is default in your organization, when a user clicks on a PDF file that's been shared in a chat or channel, it'll open up like this by default. Uh, and you can see there are like a few handy tools that are provided in the viewer itself. So you can easily change the name of the document right from here, and you can see where this file is located, which people want to know sometimes. This is the commenting pane where all your comments will appear. We have a page view as well that people can check out and navigate easily across pages. there is a non-persistent rotating tool over here. So many times you want to rotate to view or to understand sort of things which are not in the right orientation. So you can do this right here. Uh, and then there is like a two-page view, an additional view that's also been provided. And another user request which we've now implemented is having the pan tool. So we were getting feedback from a lot of users that they like using the pan tool. So that is available now as well. The other set of capabilities which are unlocked once a user signs in, right, are essentially these three. So the ability to add a comment over here or anywhere in the document largely. The ability to highlight, and as you can see, you can choose the highlight color as well. So different people can highlight in different colors, as well as drawing, and the flexibility around sort of color and thickness is available in this as well. So there's a bunch of goodness that gets unlocked once people have logged into this. The other step jump comes when people are logged into the Acrobat app with a paid subscription, which is then they get access to all the tools that you can see under the tools bar on the left. And let me just close comments. As I was saying, right, you can convert the PDF into multiple different file formats easily using this application. You can reorder pages, and let's say if I take an example of this one, right, I press reorder and we are taken into the reorder flow. So let's say I rotate this page, I move this page to the second one, and I remove sort of all these other pages. I can easily save back the document for this, and I click save. So it'll ask me if I want to save it with the same name, which essentially means that the file gets overwritten, or if I want to save it separately. Let's say in this case, I don't care. I want to save, or I want to change this file itself. So I can click save. And then Acrobat will organize these pages for you, and that will take about a second. And then you can basically see the updated file that is available here. So these are the paid features or amongst the paid features that get unlocked when a user has logged in with a paid subscription. Harish, you can take back control.
Hey, thanks. That was awesome. The whole, being able to rearrange, reorder, rotate. We do have a question in the chat that is the reorder and format change only possible in the Pro license?
So it requires a pro license. So it requires a paid license. I think it's valid even in an Acrobat Standard or Pro. I think both of them give you capability to do this. I can check internally and get back on this and give you a final answer.
Great. And then we have one more question, which is, does the app allow editing of content as well?
So by that, I assume you mean being able to change or edit the text that's on the page. So not currently, but that's something that's definitely on our roadmap.
Okay. Yeah, that I think Varun confirmed that that's what he was asking. If I'm looking
And
at chat, one more.
I think Akhil has also confirmed that both Acrobat Standard and Pro are allow that.
Perfect. And the other question is there a merge facility for two PDFs?
Yes, there is.
Yeah,
You
I
can
think you were
combine
just
multiple
showing that.
PDFs.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Great. We're loving the questions. These are really fantastic questions, and you can already see how in the flow of work, when you are trying to complete tasks, right within Teams, you're able to pretty much do most of the things that you would if you were to switch context and go away and lose focus and then come back. You're able to do all of that using obviously what I think most of us would refer to as the industry standard for PDF viewers and PDF readers and editors. Oh, we've got more questions coming. Do we need to have an Acrobat account in addition to the Teams login?
So viewing is you don't need to log into Acrobat to view a PDF and to use sort of the tools that I was showing you on the right hand side of the panel, which is if you just want to change orientation and in the PDF without changing the actual PDF, or if you want a two-sided view. So all that viewing related things you don't need to sign in. Uh, you do need an account which can be provided by the admin so that users can sign in with that account, and then depending on what entitlement has been given to that account in the Adobe admin console, whether that's a free or a paid subscription, other capabilities that the admin has access to will depend on that.
Sweet. I don't know, Dhanvi, if you can really quickly show what a signed out or a non-Acrobat view looks like. Um, if
Sure, I can do that. Let me
yeah,
just.
if you want to just reconfirm, just to answer like Ashish's question
There's
and
also a
and
hand raised from
and
C.
Varun's question as
Nageshwaran.
well. Yeah, Nageshwar, so sorry, we'll definitely you're up next. But we just want to really quickly show when you've not signed in with an Acrobat account and Teams, and you have Adobe Acrobat as your default PDF viewer within Teams, what the experience is like. And then, of course, if you do sign in, then a whole list of new features coming.
Yeah, if I could just.
Yeah, go for it. You can share.
Right. So I signed out from my account, and that's why the sign in button appears over here. So as you can see, right, I can still view the PDF, and this is another PDF, not the same one. And I can also view the comments that have been made on that PDF. I can just as easily see or change the orientation when I'm viewing, etc. Uh, what I won't be allowed to do without signing in is commenting. So if I try and comment, it'll trigger me to sign in. So I'll have to do that. And then since I'm not signed in again, if I want to use any of these paid features, that's going to ask me to sign in as well.
And can you just show us the remainder of the paid features? Because I know most of
Sure.
Varun's questions have been around, what are the other paid features available? Okay, there
Right.
you
So
go.
yeah.
We've got combine, compress, and protect at the bottom, and all the convert options on top. Perfect. Questions regarding licensing and where the file sits and where the file would sit. I think that we and team are already ahead of the curve. So we've got a few themes or like topics that we will sort of address, in focus in answering those questions. So hopefully we do address those questions in the flow of the session. And that we're so sorry for interrupt you again, but Nageshwaran, Nageshwaran, I see your hand is raised. Feel free to unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, so just one quick thing I just want to confirm. So in the Teams default PDF viewer, so is there any links in the PDF within the PDF? It's not opening. Is it by design or something? You need to configure something. Let's say I open a PDF document from chat.
Right.
Okay, so that PDF contains some links to different sections, like a newsletter. The newsletter has some links to different pages of external sites. So when we click on it's giving and cursor when we moving to that particular link or something, but it is not opening some things. Is it it's like a design by design it's not opening, or it is something that we need to configure?
Uh, So I'll attempt to answer that. At least in the Acrobat viewer, hyperlinks should work. So if they're not working for you, maybe if you could share your experience with us, we can have that looked at.
Want me to share now?
Nagesh,
So
we'll reach out to you to see how we can solve for this.
Okay.
Just to confirm, are you using Adobe Acrobat on Teams?
No, it's just a default now.
Okay, you're not
PDF.
able. Got it.
Okay.
Okay. So
It's
in
a
the
PDF.
default, that's just a reader where you're
Yeah.
not able to click on the hyperlinks. I think we can verify if that's working as designed. But I
Yeah,
think
Harish, hi,
that's
Vinay here. I think
yeah.
Chandru, I've just sent you the steps to do that. So yeah, we'll touch base off.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that just gave you a really good reason to switch over to Adobe Acrobat if you want the links also working within the PDF viewer. But no, thanks. That's a really good question.
Okay.
I see the chat is also really active, but in the interest of time, we're going to get back to the presentation and address some common themes around licensing and signing in and a few other things about data as well. Anvir, if you can see the presentation, back to you.
Again, great. Great. So what we've tried to do is we've been speaking to a lot of customers, and a few themes have been recurring. uh, we've tried to provide sort of some insight and more resources as part of this session. But as Harish was saying, right, we're also happy to talk about individual customer scenarios. So we can do that after this call. But just to sort of explain and to take up some of those questions, right? The first question is around setting up SSO and what is the prerequisite for that. So the prerequisite for setting up SSO for Acrobat is to have an Acrobat for Enterprise offer, and this is purchased either through VIP for Enterprises or ETLA. These are just the names of the contracts. But without this, or without this type of enterprise offer, it is not possible to set up SSO for Acrobat. If you do have these offers, then you can set up SSO by following the steps which are there on this helpx page, which we've linked here. But broadly, if you want to set up SSO with Azure AD as your IDP, then the steps broadly are that you set up or that you create a federated directory in the Adobe Admin Console using the Azure Active Directory. You add domains to that via Azure AD, and then you assign users uh, to those, or you assign products to those users. And you can also obviously set up an Azure AD sync, which will make your job of adding users easier. And other than this, right, as I was saying, we've realized that there are specific questions that organizations have. So we're happy to sort of connect post this and discuss.
Yeah, and I also just mentioned in chat, towards the end of the session and post session, we'll be sharing a form which you can fill out, with like specific questions or concerns that you have, and we will actually reach out to you individually, to help you set this application up for your organization. But yeah, Dhanvir, I'm just going to move to the next question.
Sure. The other question is a bit around free licensing, right? So as I told you, uh, free, like users who have a free license, they can log in using their account, their free account, and then use that to comment and collaborate, etc. But one question that we've been getting about is how does an admin assign free licenses in the Adobe Admin Console? So for that, you need a Creative Cloud for Enterprise subscription. And if you have that, then in the admin console, you will see an offer for Creative Cloud for Enterprise free. And if you accept the offer, you can assign a free entitlement to any number of users in your account. And then users, once they have that free entitlement, can log into the Acrobat app and then use the features which are available to free users, which is essentially commenting and highlighting, annotating. And again, we've added a link where you can go and find out more, and of course, happy to connect for more details as well.
Perfect.
Uh, a couple of other sort of major questions. One is, and admins have asked if they can limit signing into the Acrobat app with only Microsoft or their work credentials instead of showing multiple sign-in options. So currently, if you have SSO turned on, then the sign-in screen is skipped. So essentially, it doesn't ask users to sign in, and they will be signed in using your enterprise federated ID. If SSO is not turned on, however, then users do see a sign-in screen with an option to create an account or to log in with their personal or social account. Again, we know that this is a pain point, and we're actively thinking about how we can address this.
Sweet. Before we sort of jump into actually how we can enable this, there are quite a few questions on chat that if we want to help pick this up. I know we've also got some folks answering that, but I'm going to really quickly sort of maybe go backwards. Do we want to talk a little bit about where the file is stored and when collaborative scenarios occur? What happens in terms of a temporary transient storage that happens within Adobe?
Sure. Yeah, I can take that one. I think Akhil already answered in the chat that if there's a single user who is working on the PDF file and they're commenting, etc., all that is happening in the local storage, and everything is being saved back to OneDrive. So that's happening on your device. However, when there are multiple people collaborating on the same PDF, and which is like real time commenting on the same PDF, to enable that, currently there's a temporary file which is saved to Adobe servers, which is encrypted, deleted within 24 hours. And we have an entire sort of security white paper that we can share, which offers more detail on this. But that's essentially how collaboration is enabled right now. And that also happens when paid features like export to different file formats, organize, protect, all those features. When the paid features are used on a file by a user, even then, in order to enable that, we have to create a temporary copy which is saved on Adobe servers for up to 24 hours, but deleted after that. And again, the same security settings apply. So post this call, we can share our security white paper, which will address a lot of this in detail. And if there are still questions, we're happy to answer.
Perfect. Venkat, I hope that answers your question. There was another question about whether you need separate licenses within Adobe, or if you need the same. I just see that you responded saying the same ID would work and you would not need separate licenses. There's another question for, will there be integration for mobile and handheld devices in the future?
So the integration is available on Teams Mobile. The only difference is that when admins follow the steps that are on screen, Acrobat in the desktop and web client becomes the default PDF viewer. That doesn't happen in Teams yet. So in the mobile Teams yet. So in mobile, the default viewer will remain the native PDF viewer. But if you follow these steps, then the default PDF viewer in the desktop and the web client gets changed to Acrobat. But the integration is already available in Teams Mobile as well.
Perfect. And I think there was a question about, it says I need to sign in, but I want to be able to access it without signing in. What's the best way to proceed? I think once, and I'm going to try and answer this question that way, but once you've set up Adobe Acrobat, you basically made it available. Actually, what you're seeing in the screen are the two key steps where you've reviewed permissions and allowed the app for your organization, and you've also installed the app for everyone, thus making it the default viewer. The next time you click on a PDF file, it would automatically open the file within Adobe. Tanvir, I hope that's the experience when you want to be able to just use PDFs and use the file.
Yeah, I think it allows to view PDF files without signing in. So not sure whose question is it. So once we install and pin it centrally through Teams Admin Center, it's going to become your default PDF viewer. So anytime you open a PDF document, you can view it in the Adobe Acrobat app without signing in. That's I think that's the capability it provides without a sign to Adobe account.
Perfect. Is there any other? I see there's a lot of conversation going on, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay. We're going to go back to the presentation for now. Prateek, if you're on the call, if you want to just highlight this really quickly for us
Yep.
one more time.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Harish and Danveer. And I'll request Harish if I can take the screen for a minute.
Yeah, please do.
So awesome. I believe we have seen a lot of cool features and you might be very excited to enable it right away. So here's a quick 2-minute demo. I'm going to share the screen. Just confirm if the screen is visible.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this screen might be, familiar with all the Office 365 admins, and we have seen the steps in the written, but I'm just going to show a quick demo of how you can enable it for your tenant and make Adobe Acrobat as a default PDF reader for everyone. So this screen is a global administrator. We'll quickly jump to the Teams admin by clicking here to the Teams admin center. Once we do that, this opens up our Teams admin center where we control all the apps for our organization. So it's a basic three-step process. Under Teams applications, you will see manage apps, permission policies, and setup policies. These are the three quick steps that we need to review to enable the Adobe Acrobat app. For this, first we go to manage apps, and in the list of catalog of all the applications that we have, we search for Adobe Acrobat here quickly, and you can see if I type Adobe, the first app that comes over here is the Adobe Acrobat app, which is M365 certified app. Just click on it. You should see that the status of the app should be allowed. Let's toggle to the permissions tab. Under permissions tab, that's the first step. You need to review the permission policies. Just by clicking on this, you can click over here. Here are some read policies that you will have. Just accept those. By accepting this, you have enabled the Adobe app for your tenant. You should see a green banner confirming that the permission policies, the reviews have been done. Once that is done, just switch over to the next one. This is permission policies. Just give it a glance if your organization have under global policy allowed the third party apps. If you have allowed all apps, cool. You don't have to look further or do any stuff. You can skip this part. But if you have selected the allowed only the selected apps, just add the Adobe Acrobat app to the list of catalog of the allowed apps, and over there I'm just adding the Adobe Acrobat, the first one. I'll click on add and allow. Once that is done, then click on save. And the last step that you want to do is that click on the setup policies. Under setup policies, go to the policy which is allowed by everyone. If you have created multiple policies, the rule applies that you add and add this app to all the setup policies that you have created. I have created none. It's the global for this. So I'll go to the global policy, and under installed apps section, just need to add the Adobe Acrobat app over here. For everyone, I have already added. I'll just remove it and add it once more. Yep. And when you see Adobe Acrobat, just click on add and only add it to the installed apps, not on the pinned app section. Once that is done, click on save. And this, as you all know, that this setup policies will take around 24 to 48 hours to get implemented in your organization. And once that is done, these are the only three sections that you need to touch, and within 24 hours you will have an experience of any PDF that is being shared on Microsoft Teams. A user can just click on it, and the PDF will directly open using the Adobe Acrobat app, and not the default PDF where things it is just a viewer app. So that's all folks you need to do to enable the Adobe Acrobat for your organization to make it as a default PDF reader. Cool.
Fantastic. Thanks, Pratik. I think, in summary, you want to allow the app within your tenant, just like you would have allowed other apps. You want to allow this app, and then you want to install the app for all relevant users. And once those two are in place, this is the experience. The next time that they click on a PDF file that's shared in chat or channels, it automatically opens within the Adobe Acrobat app, and then they have this high quality experience from that moment onwards. I'm going to quickly switch back to the presentation. Yes, Pratik.
Yes. And now we will have Spandana talking about other Adobe apps. So Spandana, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Prateek. So if I know that it's a fairly simple process to get the app installed in your tenant, but if you need more help or more clarifications on what's possible, what's not possible, how to get it done, how to set up SSO, please feel free to reach out to folks from Microsoft who are working with you closely. Reach out to us, me, Harish, or write to us. We will be getting in touch with you and helping you out on setting the app up inside of Teams. Before we talk about the other Adobe apps that are available in Teams, if there are any other questions, please feel free to unmute and just, ask them. We do have some time with us, and yes, any questions are welcome. I know that there's a lot of activity that's happening on chat, and we are feeling those. But yes, unmute and feel free to
Yeah.
ask any other
Thanks, Vandana.
questions.
This is Bhuvan. I have one
Hey,
question.
hi, Bhuvan. Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
So when someone comments or post a comment in the PDF, how
Yeah.
do the other member will get the notification? Is it in the activity I will get the notification?
So not currently the notification. So let's say I share a PDF with you and you comment on it, right?
Mhm.
The Acrobat app also has a bot. The
Okay.
bot will send you a bot notification saying that that the recipient has commented, and the owner will get a notification that the recipient has commented on it, and also provides an entry point to the PDF in that chat.
Okay. Thanks.
Uh,
Yeah, you get the personal bot notification, Bhuvan, instead of the
Yeah.
activity feed notification. And yeah,
Understood.
it's
Yeah. Thanks.
going to open up the app. Okay, any other questions? There's also another poll live. Uh, if you are using any other Adobe apps, just let us know. We'll get in touch with you about those as well. Uh, so we do have a couple of more apps from Adobe which are available in our Teams App Store. The first one is Adobe Acrobat Sign. So if you are using it for collaborating or working on your contracts, on your agreements, it's a fairly simple process to get it switched on. Reach out to us again for that. Similarly, Adobe Creative Cloud, if you have content creators who are working on this, they can actually look for their assets, view it, share it inside of Teams using the Creative Cloud app today in Teams. Adobe Express, similarly, you can access your creations, you can share it inside of Microsoft Teams channels, again, share it with your team members. And last but not the least, we have Adobe Learning Manager, which is the newest addition in our Teams App Store. Very beautiful LMS application. If you're already using it, big recommendation to get it started inside of your team's environment as well. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us and we will help you out over there in getting these apps activated. And yes, if there are no more questions, we do have a form for you. You can kind of go over there and punch in if you need any help, if what's the timeline that you want to get started with Adobe Acrobat in Teams. Do you need help right away, or if there's a timeline in the future when you want some support from us, just help us get that information in. If you're using any other Adobe app, punch that in the poll as well, and we will be helping you out with that. I do see there are more questions on the chat.
I think a lot of these questions are being answered, Spandana. I just want to
Yeah,
highlight that the link is in the link to the
the
form
chat.
is in your chat.
Yeah.
So if you found the session useful and if you're thinking, okay, let's get this app enabled within Teams for your organization, I can admit that tons of organizations within India and across the globe, they've already enabled it and are leveraging and reaping the benefits of this integration. So if the session was useful, please fill up the form and we will start reaching out to you right away to get this enabled. I see a question from Karan. We are using a Microsoft classifier that allows us to apply classifications on files via any Microsoft shared via any Microsoft platform. Will those options apply here? Karan, do you want to unmute and expand a little bit on that to help us understand what you mean? If you're
Pardon me, Harish, pardon me, I didn't get you there quite. Your voice.
so, can you repeat the question and help us understand what you're asking?
Yeah. So currently we have gone ahead with a Microsoft classifier, Microsoft Information Protection, which allows us to classify all the files, including images and even the PDF files. So when we share those via Teams or when we open it via any Microsoft platform, we are asked to classify it as one of the labels which are available with us.
Right. When you say it's general or it's private,
Yeah.
or it's confidential.
Yes. So
Okay.
would those options be available over here? Because the Microsoft Adobe Reader, which currently we have, doesn't allow us. When we upload it to our OneDrive or something, only at that time these classifications are available with it.
Sure, we can check on that, but these files that you are going to access, the PDF files, are still stored within your OneDrive and SharePoint uh, when you access them. So the
Okay,
classifications,
so maybe we should get a prompt while we open it.
right? But
That's
we'll check on this, and if you can just fill up the form that we've shared, when we reach out to you, we can double click to ensure that it follows your requirement.
sure. We'll fill those out.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Any other questions from anyone? If we missed your question on chat, we've still got folks from Adobe right here. So if you have any other questions, feel free to unmute and ask us anything with regards to how you can enable the application, or if you have questions about how it works, or any specific scenarios that apply to your team or to your organization. This is a really good opportunity to actually put it across for everyone to
Yeah, hi,
benefit from.
Janardhan here.
Hello?
Yeah, Janardhan here. I'm audible.
Yes, go for it. Yes.
Yeah, so I saw that when you clicked on the app permissions app, you got one pop-up, and there you uh, done some consent on the permissions level.
Okay.
So whether after doing that, any application will get registered automatically in Azure AD?
This application,
So
yes. Sorry, go for it.
yeah, so I can take it, try to I'll attempt on that. So Janardhan, this application is already registered and published in our Teams App Store. It does require a few read Graph API permissions for, opening up those files and allowing the collaboration activities to happen. Those are the permissions that we are consenting to from the Teams Admin Center. So the registration, the publishing is already done because it's a readily available app on the App Store. We are just consenting to those read permissions from the Teams Admin Center that Pratik showed us. So yeah, we don't need to do any additional registration steps.
Okay,
Does that
understood.
answer your question?
Yeah, so what I understood that that is already published. Only that required permissions will get
Correct.
added to the Azure AD applications for communication with the teams.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Okay, and there whether we can restrict that or publish that application to only specific users, and if yes, then whether it is from that portal or from Azure AD portal, we have to do that.
Yeah, so if you just want to allow this app to a specific set of users, we can do it through a group policy assignment. We can probably create an Azure security group for those specific users and allow the app for them. But still, this app is a PDF viewer and you can collaborate. So probably you can enable it for all the users. But if you want to enable it only for a selected few, we can also get that done from Azure AD. We just need to create a security group and then we can allow the custom app setup policy to that specific group itself from Admin Center.
Okay, understood. Thanks, Mandra.
Jonathan, yeah, definitely we can sort of maybe get on a separate call and dedicatedly work with you to have this set up. So I would encourage you as well, if you can quickly fill up that form, we would know who to reach out to get this set up for your organization.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. We've still got a few minutes left before we wrap it up. Any other questions, comments, please let us know. We will stay on the line for a few more minutes.
Is the polls you are just conducting during this meeting, is it
Yes,
part of Acrobat or Teams functionality?
it's a Teams. There are multiple apps within Teams. We're just using one of the polling apps that are available to run polls
Okay.
within this meeting. Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah, you have. I don't know which app was used. Did we use polls or
We
forms?
use, yeah, it was polls.
Polls.
It
Okay.
was native polls app.
Native polls app. Yeah. So we have a few like polls is a native application, but we also have um, popular third-party applications that can also be used for polling purposes. And that's a good question. Just to Um,
Thanks. Thanks.
I
Because
guess
it
it's an
is a
opportunity for
very,
us to showcase that the other capabilities that you have within
yeah.
a Teams meeting. Yeah,
Yeah, because asking for it, because we can use it while doing a virtual training just like you do. Okay. So if
absolutely.
we had any question, or we want to know something about that topic, then we can actually ask if the participants are in multiple. So
Yes.
the
We
good
use
option.
we there are multiple apps that you can use within meetings. Polling is one such example. We
Okay.
also use it for project management. Sales teams use it to update lead information or opportunity information. There are whiteboarding apps that you can use within meetings. So yes,
Yeah.
this is one such example that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Thanks. If there are no other questions, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Adobe team for partnering up with us in this. And yeah, we've done multiple such sessions where we focus on different applications. So it's great to see that everybody's joined us again, uh, and asked so many fantastic questions. The filling of the form is going to be a great way for us to reach out to you individually and make sure that all your concerns are answered and we actually enable the app for your organization. But with that, I will hand it back to Spandana, our host for this evening, to wrap things up.
Yeah, thank you, Harish, and thank you everyone for joining in. Please do let us know if you're using any of these Adobe apps. We are going to reach out to you and help you out in setting those up. And let us know what is the next popular app that you want us to bring us in. We'll have another card session coming up in some time, and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.